Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Manifestation Magic, 21 Rituals, Spells, and Amulets for Abundance, Prosperity, and Wealth, by Elhoim Leafar. Narrated by Bill Andrew Quinn. Publisher's Note: in this audio edition, you will hear references to illustrations and images present in the print and ebook formats of this book. That person, male or female, who wants to dedicate his spirit to the magical arts must possess a true vocation for it, putting all his will and good faith in his exercises and practices. Jonas Sufferino, The Book of St. Cyprian. Preface. September 27, 2015. Lacking any knowledge of English beyond a simple "Hello, how are you?" or "Bye, bye, bye," I got off the plane in Atlanta and proceeded to search for my connecting flight to New York City. I carried a suitcase with my old laptop, a Kindle, my grimoire, many books, 6 charm bags, 2 changes of clothes, my toothbrush, and $15. I knew practically no one, and clearly nobody knew me. I didn't have a job lined up or the name of a lawyer, much less any money to pay for one. 5 months later, I was signing a publishing contract with a large publishing house while working full-time doing readings during weekends. Now, 4 years later, I am writing this book to teach you how to do it from scratch, what I had to learn, and what I learned to do. A word to listeners, our gods and angels. In this book, the gods of good fortune and prosperity are mentioned constantly. That is just my perspective on the matter, a perspective that comes from my background, my personal and family heritage, my daily practice, and my origin. Many believe in angels and fairies, and in a way I do too. I see angels as the divine manifestations as they really are, messengers. If you believe in angels and they are a part of your daily personal practice, I invite you to listen to this book and interpret my gods of good fortune as the angels of light and joy that illuminate your path. This book was written with enormous and infinite love, and it was written for you. You have the power to interpret it in whatever way makes you happy. The intention and purpose of this book are to help you achieve happiness, economic prosperity, and abundance. Do not seek to become a millionaire. Seek to become prosperous, with your happiness as the ultimate goal. If it makes you happy to see these gods as angels or vice versa, I invite you to do so freely. Religions, groups of believers, spiritual tribes, and covens, they are all branches of that immense tree that we are all climbing to reach the sunlight at the top. Gods, angels, and fairies are all divine manifestations of the nature of the universe, just as you are. Blessed be today and forever. Part 1. Magic and Sorcery. The mistake that many of us make is to believe that we have come here to get comfortable, when the truth is that we have come here to get uncomfortable, to learn and evolve in the process, and the study and practice of magic is a reminder of that. 1. Magic. Be conscious. Don't forget to be aware of the magic you do, the rituals you craft, and the power you have. Incredible powers embrace every cell in your body. Don't let any situation, emotion, or person make you think otherwise. Philosophy and esoteric study are terms that try to give you 100 different ideas about what magic really is and how it is used. In this book, I am not trying to evangelize anyone. I am not going to proclaim that this is the only valid concept, and I will not try to fill your head with such complex information. Although it may be correct, it will always be incomplete because defining something as complex as magic is as difficult as questioning a group of philosophers about the origin of life and its function. We could spend a lifetime researching the origin of magic and its practices and still never reach a single conclusion. Because of that, this book will begin with a short but essential journey toward the discovery of your power and the use of magic and sorcery for your own benefit. However, the most important part of this trip will not be to learn, but rather to unlearn. If this book came into your possession, you already have learned something about magic from other books, movies, a past life, or other personal experiences. This book will not cover the origin of the word magic or its uses through the complicated history of humanity. What it will focus on are the simplest experiences without pretension, the energy you feel in your fingertips when your hands are underwater, the instinct that guides you to make certain decisions, even when everyone tells you it's wrong, the first impulse of a pregnant mother as her baby's heart beats, the feeling of empathy with a stranger in the street, that something that tells you not to enter that alley or alerts you when someone is following you, the premonitory dreams you have at night. All these experiences with different names, intuition, premonition, instinct, empathy, telepathy, clairvoyance, are linked by a fine energetic bond that connects them to each other and, in turn, connects them with you. That fine bond is magic, and in its subtle touch are the greatest powers that govern and connect all the creative and transformative forces in this universe. Wizards, sorcerers, witches, fortune-tellers, shamans, and alchemists all have their own definition of what magic is, and many of them probably use it for different reasons: to attract love, earn more money, heal diseases, cure the evil eye, protect their home, predict the future, consider the past, and so forth. All of them share something in common: the mystical art of magic. Although all the mystical processes of life are linked to each other by magic, these processes represent and are linked in turn to different types of energy: psychic, shamanic, mystical, spiritual, and so forth. Sorcery is, for many scholars, the field that studies these practices, and through sorcery in its different aspects, you can learn to better channel these energies and make use of them for your own well-being. For many theorists, sorcery includes a group of knowledge, practices, techniques, and tools for studying magic. I propose to use the study of magic for the theoretical, and sorcery to refer to the practical application of this knowledge. Visualizing magic. A moment of magic, like a deep feeling of healing, a tiny omen in the wind, a prayer from the mouth of a mother, a deep light in the horizon, is sometimes everything you need to awake your power. Let's do a small visualization exercise together. Start by breathing deeply and slowly for a moment, looking carefully at all the beings and objects around you: people, animals, plants, electronic equipment, and so forth. Take your time with this visualization. If you want to make it shorter, count a number of objects, things, and people around you. There can be 12, 20, 50, 200, or easily 5,800 different things. Now visualize that your hands are covered by a thin, fine, bright, and translucent halo of light, and assign a color to it. It can be white, yellow, orange, blue, any color that makes you feel good. If choosing a color is hard, I suggest you visualize a bright and translucent white halo. Now visualize this halo as thin as a sheet of paper, but still visible. Now imagine that the halo of bright light not only covers your hands, but rather your whole body. And while you visualize this, think about something very simple: that the halo that you are visualizing really exists. It is not something you imagined. It is not something new that you are creating. Quite the opposite. It is something very old that you are just now discovering. The halo of light that covers you has always been there, only now you are giving it color and form to force it to manifest itself. Now that you understand that it has always been there, you will begin to notice that the visualization becomes easier, and you will also notice certain slight changes in that halo, such as its color and density. Finally, we will return to the objects you counted and try to visualize them wrapped in that same halo of light that covers you. See, for example, a tree, your smartphone, a cup of coffee on the desk, even this book. Visualize all these objects covered by this halo of light, and surprise! It will not take long to notice that while you visualize these objects, a very thin line of bright, almost invisible light connects some part of your body with one of these objects or people. Stay with this exercise for a few more minutes. Take a deep breath, eliminate any distraction from your head, and you will see that these lines of light that radiate off you are connected with absolutely everything around you, even things that are not yours, even things that are unknown, cars in the streets, houses, briefcases, vases, a traffic light, a mountain. Once you have noticed these fine lines of light, you will understand two very simple truths in life. The first thing you'll understand is that those halos of vaguely visible light that connect everything around you are magic. Give it another name if you prefer, but that is magic, and it is in you and in all things. Through sorcery, you will learn to handle those fine, thin lines to attract what you need and want. The second thing you will understand is as important as the first. It's that everything around you, absolutely everything, is connected, from the sky to the ground and beyond, and once you understand this, the use of the magical arts will take on a much deeper meaning for you. Magic and energy. A force that governs everything from the beginning to the end. Magic governs all. It is a force that has existed from the origin of everything and will continue to exist after all. It is an abundant and thriving force that will always instinctively try to connect, create, produce, reproduce, and transform everything it touches. It also tries to help them grow and prosper, from attracting good customers to a commercial space, to attracting numerous burning stars to planetary systems larger than ours. Visualize magic as a primal force, as a sun that does not stop burning, a star that does not stop shining, or a planet that does not stop spinning around a gravity well. Look at the moon at night, and remember that this moon is attracted by the gravitational force of the earth, while the earth is attracted by the gravitational force of the sun, and it in turn is being attracted by a much larger gravitational force. They all act as a result of some power. The earth doesn't think, I'm going to settle here to turn around the sun for a while until I get tired. The moon doesn't think, I was bored and went to visit Earth to give her some light at night. No, that does not happen. These elements move because something much larger than them attracts them, the force of gravity. In the universe we inhabit, magic is not an exception to the rule. It is a supreme force that acts by instinct, seeking to attract, multiply, and transform. Even karma, that divine force that rules over all living and thinking beings, has an important role in this matter, because magic acts as a messenger and transformer of karmic desires, for better or worse. Mages for thousands of years, at least 10 millennia if we consider druids, hierophants, and sorcerers of mankind's oldest pagan temples, have made in-depth use of this fine art of sorcery, together with alchemy, to be able to transform the entire environment that surrounds them, including governments, homes, families, models of thought, and even the weather. This force that connects everything, magic itself, is extremely powerful and capable of giving you literally everything you need. That is why in this guide we focus on using your energy and magical power to attract and transform your life and the lives around you for the better. The work behind your rituals. How do they work? What do they consist of, and how do we perform them? All the work that was done before, step by step, chant by chant, that is where the magic happens. If sorcery is the application of the magical arts and all the techniques and secrets that are hidden around it, a spell or ritual is a magical work carried out in a specific order to focus our energy on transforming a situation, thought, or anything else into something different. Similar to a cooking recipe, a spell entails a series of elements, full attention on its realization, a lot of focus, time, and the desire to do it. And just like cooking in the kitchen, if you lose focus, the food will burn. There are many attributes and elements involved in magic and sorcery: the hours of the day, the days of the month, your emotional state, and the magical tools you use. Even clothing and the environment can be important factors, especially for beginners, who may have had a harder time focusing their energy and concentrating on what they are doing, because if you don't feel comfortable, If your shoes are too tight, you never liked that shirt, or the room is too cold, you will become completely distracted. Performing a spell or ritual entails proper preparation, and it is important that you erase various concepts from your head as mentioned earlier. It is time to unlearn. It is hard to fill your head with new knowledge if it is already full of information. For that reason, I recommend you use the scientific method as you study, meaning you must always assume that anything you learn today may become obsolete tomorrow, especially in a field as complex as metaphysics. So you must be prepared to study many different concepts from various authors and teachers. Once you put them into practice, you can decide which of them you have the strongest connection with and which methods work best for you. To realize a spell, it is necessary to take into account the time when it will be performed. Some rituals and spells, including those involving the elements of fire, earth, and sun, the transformation of an individual's conscious mind, and the execution of creative energy for something new, usually become stronger when performed during the hours between dawn and a couple of hours before sunset, while rituals and talismans that involve the elements of water and air, the moon's energy, transformation of the unconscious, and the use of slower, more progressive transformational energy tend to have a faster, more powerful effect when performed at night, especially midnight, the witching hour. Although the time of day to execute the ritual or spell is under the complete control of the sorcerer, the effective fulfillment of it has more to do with the desire requested, the energy used, the correct use of tools, the elements around the ritual, and many other factors. There are no exact times when it comes to magic. Although some rituals may take up to 3 months to complete, some may have rather immediate results. This will depend on many external and internal factors surrounding the sorcerer. A sorcerer or mage with many years of experience can perform a simple ritual to feel more energetic during the day, and his spell can take effect in just 1 or 2 days. But a person with no experience, or who has only performed a couple of spells, did not concentrate properly during the ritual because he was distracted by his phone or was unsure of the effects of the spell or not clear about his intentions, can perform exactly the same spell as the more experienced sorcerer, and it can take months to take effect. This might even make the performer doubt his results because they did not show up immediately. Until you empty the glass, you cannot fill it again. Until your head gets cleared of someone else's thoughts, there will be no room for new thoughts, experiences, learnings, and stories. Learn to let go of old taboos and prejudices in order to embrace new thoughts, new energies, new people, new places, learnings, and experiences. 2. Sorcery. You do the magic will do the rest. And a little more. If energy lives in different forms in absolutely everything that exists in our universe, and magic is the constant theoretical practical study of the movement of this energy which leads us to understand its operation and movement, the influences of the phases of the moon or the power to charge amulets, sorcery is the set of techniques, practices, tools, and rituals that we carry out to realize that magical use, popularly known as magical work or witchcraft. A spell is the ritual method used to identify the energy we are working with and to make use of it for our benefit or the benefit of others. If we use amulets, charm bags, potions, or symbols to attract and control some type of energy, we are using a spell, and the spellcaster or sorcerer acts as the mediator between the energy existing in a situation, the cause, and the result that is being sought to produce, the effect. The sorcerer as a mediator learns from theory and practice. Far from simply engaging in spells and rituals without a specific purpose beyond fulfilling a wish, for example, placing a love spell on someone because it is their desire to be loved by someone, the sorcerer focuses on studying the situation from the outside, understanding where the desire comes from, the origin, what result they are seeking to achieve with the ritual, the desire to be loved, why they are using magic, accelerating the process and removing obstacles, and which magic method to use, a potion, enchantment, or invocation. The true wisdom of the sorcerer is in his ability to identify what the problem is and what the options are to solve it, and for this, the sorcerer has to consult the guidance of his masters, teachers, spirits, ancestors, gods, orishas, and thus determine what the appropriate method is for realizing his desire to resolve, improve, or change a situation, for better or worse. The art of the sorcerer is found in the deepest and most complete understanding of serendipity, seeing forward to the events in a distant fate, accumulating all kinds of magical treasures and blessings, to influence each of these events for his own benefit or someone else's. In this book, one of our goals is to help you become a sorcerer of your own pantheon, a connoisseur of your own magic, a guide to your own path, and a wise light that guides others who seek or meet you on that path. Because of the aforementioned, we will focus on a series of rituals for cleansing and purifying all those impediments that block your path to abundance, wealth, and well-being, using your own energy in combination with the power of your personal pantheon so that you can become a real light able to illuminate the path of others who follow. Your magical skills. Your magic skills work like a muscle. If you want to show off your muscles or run a marathon faster, it won't help you to spend whole days sitting in front of the computer reading. No matter how much you learn about how to exercise your muscles, if you don't train each in the appropriate way, it is not going to grow stronger, and this can end up having serious effects on your health. Your ability to perform magic works exactly the same way. If you don't train your skills properly, they will not develop and can instead be blocked. You can read all the medical books in the library and take notes on each issue of a healthcare magazine, but that does not make you a doctor. It only makes you a very good connoisseur of the subject. Sorcery is no different. In magic and sorcery, practice is vitally important. And although theory is also important, take into account that the wise druids, the magicians and priests of the old European continent, and those first witches of Salem did not exactly have a local library card or a bookstore available. Although, yes, this was the time of obscurantism, we cannot deny that much of the magical knowledge we inherit comes from these individuals whose practices were passed from generation to generation by oral tradition, who learned the correct use of herbs by collecting them in the forest with their hands, and who conjured the spirits of the night with candles, oils, a little blood, and some spells on parchment. They learned by practicing. They had no time to read books, much less enjoy the freedom to share them. If you have not done any kind of spell consciously before, the chances are that when you perform the rituals in this book you may feel anxious, but that is a good sign that you want to do things right and you are worried about the result. It means you are on the right track. As your practice increases, you will begin to feel a greater sensitivity toward your own magic, toward your connection with the environment, and with other practitioners like you. Your connections with nature, plants, and animals will become deeper and more intimate. You will begin to see them with other eyes, and even the perfume of the rose will become more delicious to your nose. That is because, as your abilities awaken, your connection with everything alive and natural in your environment will have increased. If at this step you continue performing the visualization exercise I taught you at the beginning of the book at least once a week, for sessions of 10 to 15 minutes, you will notice that each of these fine lines of light and subtle energy are more pronounced, firmer with more color and brightness. You will feel that the energy moves to touch your skin, and you will even perceive in these fine halos of energy a multitude of colors that you did not notice before. After some time, you will even make this practice a form of conscious vision that will be activated unconsciously. Now, if these skills for the practices of magic are not used, you might get numb to the magic, what I like to call simply a blockage, which is similar to the sensation when you sit down to meditate or assume the well-known lotus position and your legs start to feel numb, the blood stops flowing well, and then you lose all sensation in them temporarily. In magic, this numbness is the same. If you don't use your magic, the energy stops flowing in and you get numb to it. Then that feeling of constant boredom, monotony, and tiredness invade you. In some cases, you may even experience an inexplicable insomnia or excessive sleep. This is because if an ethereal muscle of your body might be charged with energy but is numb, the energy does not flow inward but also does not flow outward, and you feel like you are constantly carrying a heavy backpack that you do not remember picking up. It is simply there causing a nuisance instead of being a useful tool. Where does your magic come from? The gods gathered at some time billions of years before the history of mankind and, through a long process, created the world we inhabit. They created the rivers and the seas, carved the mountains and forged each one of the thick groves, moved the waters of the world to different places to create the arid deserts, the splendid beaches, the deep lakes, and the islands and continents that would later be inhabited by the greatest of its creations, humanity. Above all, our gods are our parents and creators, as well as teachers of a science much older than our understanding, which is why, like all parents, they gave us the tools to continue forging and transforming the work they created. We inherited the magic that remained on earth, and through the sacred ancestral bonds that connect us with all our ancestors from within, we are able to access the profound wisdom of those ancient creator gods. Once you wake up your bond with your ancestors, you will have access to a powerful energy that is capable of transforming absolutely everything that surrounds you. What separates the mages from non-mages is the understanding we have of that individual connection with everything that has preceded us. This sacred connection is powerful and infinite, and the more you explore it, the more power you can receive from it, because this connection with your ancestors works like elaborate wiring connecting you to the main battery, those gods of antiquity, the creators of everything. While the connection of some magicians with their surroundings and their ancestors is powerful, some people have a more superficial and intermittent connection, but that connection is never limited. It will grow more and more with use. That connection is the reason why some individuals are born with certain special talents for the execution of the magical arts, while others discover them during a growth process as an intuitive call to better understand the world. Your abundance, like your craft, is a reflection of your inner magic, which is a reflection of your own understanding. Both are limitless, as are you. In a perfect universe, where time-space is constantly expanding and chaos ends up originating entire galaxies abundant in stars, each one of us as individuals is a reflection of this abundance. We are vibrant, changing beings that are constantly expanding. But just as the children of great musicians can also become great musicians but still remain in the shadow of their parents, often it's those artists who don't descend from an outstanding family of musicians that turn out to be better known. Perhaps it's destiny or genetics, or simply because they work harder, because constant practice and daily study will always overcome, in results, innate talent. The secret to understanding your power is in your daily routine. A visualization exercise. I recommend that you perform this meditation consistently, but not daily. When I used to perform this exercise every week, the results took time to appear, but when I began to improve my visualization and my personal connection with this exercise, I was able to reduce it to once a month. This meditation exercise gains additional strength and has better results if you do it between sunset and midnight on a new moon day. To better understand the aforementioned concepts, sit in a comfortable position in a calm, quiet space at a time where you won't be interrupted. Light your favorite flavor of incense to cleanse the space around you. Then close your eyes, take several deep breaths, and feel the calm wash over you. Visualize with your feet and your legs connected to the ground as roots. Visualize these roots growing down from your feet and piercing the ground, crossing the concrete, basements, and all the material world that separates you from Mother Earth. Do not visualize them as obstacles, but rather as small bridges that are there to connect you with the earth. Imagine your roots growing and deepening into the earth. Breathe deeply and feel.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?